come in, Mr. Mulholland. Hello, Mr. Temple.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now arriving in Bath. Thank you for traveling with us today.
Excuse me, but is there a fairly cheap hotel not too far away from here?
Try the Bell and Dragon. They might take you in. It's about a quarter of a mile around that way.
Ooh. Please, come in.
I saw the notice in your window.
Yes, I know. Why didn't you come out of the cold?
I was wondering about the room.
It's all ready for you, my dear.
How much do you charge?
5 and 6 pence a night, including breakfast. I can drop the charge just a little bit if you don't want the egg.
5 and 6 pence is fine.
Please, come in. You can hang your hat right there. We have it all to ourselves. You see, it isn't very often I have the pleasure of taking a little visitor into my nest.
Really? I thought you would have been simply swamped with applicants.
Oh dear, I am. Of course I am. But the trouble is that I am inclined to be a little bit teeny-weeny particular.
Ah, yes.
Everything is always ready day and night and in this house, and just in case someone who is exactly perfect comes along, just like you. And this room is yours. The morning sun shines right through the window, Mr. Perkins. It is Mr. Perkins, isn't it?
No, it's Weaver.
Oh, Mr. Weaver, I'm so sorry. It's such a comfort to have a warm water bottle under a strange bed, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I'm so glad you appeared. I was beginning to get worried.
You mustn't worry about me.
And what about supper? Did you mean to get anything before you came here?
No, it's fine.
Okay, well, would you mind, after you unpack, would you be kind enough to pop into the sitting room and sign the guest book on the floor?
Oh, yes, I don't mind.
It's the law of the land, and we don't want to go breaking any laws. I'll leave you to unpack.
Thank you. Thank you ever so much. Gregory Temple, Christopher Mulholland.
Such charming boys.
They sound familiar.
They do? How interesting.
I'm almost positive I've heard those names before, somewhere. Isn't that queer? Maybe the newspapers. They weren't famous in any way, were they?
Famous? Oh no. They were handsome, both of them. I can promise you that. They were both very tall and handsome, just exactly like you.
Look here, the last entry is over 2 years ago.
It is?
Yes, indeed. And Christopher Mulholland's is nearly a year before that. More than 3 years ago.
Dear me, I would have never have thought it. How time does fly away from all of us, doesn't it, Mr. Wilkins?
It's Weaver. W-E-A-V-E-R.
Oh, of course it is. I do apologize. How silly of me, in one ear and out the other. That's me, Mr. Weaver.
You know something? Something that's really quite extraordinary about this.
No, dear, I don't.
Well, you see, both these names, Mulholland and Temple, I not only seem to remember each one of them separately, so to speak, but somehow or another, in some peculiar way, they both appeared to be sort of connected together as well, as though they were both famous for the same sort of thing, if you see what I mean, like Adam and Eve, for example, or Kim and Kanye.
How amusing. But come over here, dear, and sit beside me on the sofa, and I'll give you a cup of tea and a ginger biscuit.
You really shouldn't bother. I didn't mean you to do anything like that. I'm almost positive it was in the newspapers. I saw them. I'll think of it in a second. I'm sure I will. Now, wait a minute. Wait a sec. Mulholland, Christopher Mulholland, wasn't that the name of the Eton schoolboy who was on a walking tour through the West Country? And then all of a sudden...
Milk and sugar?
Yes, please. And then all of a sudden...
Eton schoolboy? Oh no, my dear, that can't possibly be right, because Mr. Mulholland was certainly not an Eton schoolboy. He was a Cambridge undergraduate when he came to me. Now, come over here and sit next to me, and your tea is all ready for you. There we are. Now, I've never seen anyone alive drink as much much tea as in dear Mr. Mulholland.
I suppose he left quite recently.
Left? Oh dear, he never left. He's still here. Mr. Temple is too. They're both on the 3rd floor together. How old are you, my dear?
17.
17? Oh, it's the perfect age. Mr. Mulholland was also 17, but I'm pretty sure he was a trifle shorter than you are. Actually, I'm positive of it. And his teeth weren't so quite white. You have the most beautiful teeth, Mr. Weaver. Don't you know that?
They're not as good as they look. I've got them filled quite a lot.
Mr. Temple, of course, was a little older, and he was actually 28, and yet I never would have guessed it if he hadn't told me. Never in my whole life. There wasn't a blemish on his body.
A what?
His skin was just like a baby's.
That dog, you know something? It had me completely fooled when I first saw it through the window on the street. I could have sworn it was alive.
Alas, no longer.
It's most terribly clever the way it's been done. It doesn't look the least bit dead. Who did it?
I did.
You did.
Of course, his name is Basil.
Good gracious me.
I stuff all my pets myself when they pass away. Will you have another cup of tea?
No, thank you.
You did send the book, didn't you?
Oh, yes.
That's good, because later on, if I happen to forget what you recalled, then I can always come down and look at the book. I still do that almost every day with Mr. Mulholland and Mr.
Temple. Gregory Temple. Excuse my asking, but there haven't been any other guests in the last 2 or 3 years.
No, my dear, only you.
This tea, is there something in it?
Hello, Mr. Temple. Hello, Mr. Mulholland. I brought you a new friend. Hello, Mr. Perkins. I've been expecting you. The other guests are waiting for you on the 3rd floor. I've been expecting you, and I've been...
My name's Audrey.
Okay,
Follow me.
Of course I am.
No.
Action!
Wait. Hello, Mr. Mulholland. Hello, Mr. Temple.
Sorry, I kind of...
Great job, guys.
You're supposed to...
Hello, Mr. Mulholland. Hello, Mr. Temple.
Sorry, I kind of...